Hi everybody, it's Kathy. How's everybody doing today? Kind of nasty day. It's Thursday. Temperature's like 49. It's 11 o'clock in the morning. Brady's licking my arm. Sit down. Sit down. Sit down. That's a good boy. It's been raining all over, I guess, so we really, I guess, can't complain. Everything's beautiful green. Everything came up and out a little bit early, and then it just came to a stop. But the grass is very green, which is good. This morning, I'm going to do baked beans, but I'm going to do vegetarian style. The reason I do that is because I have a vegetarian in the house. My daughter, my husband and I don't eat a lot of meat, but I wouldn't say we're vegetarians. My daughter she has been for at least 20 years. She was sitting pretty much in the same chair that I'm in and looking out the window one day 20 some years ago, and she saw our neighbor in the backyard deconstructing a deer that was hanging in a tree. And that was the very last time that she ever touched meat. She eats all her beans and she gets her protein, cottage cheese and lots of different things, but she doesn't do any meat at all. And she's very healthy. She's thin. She has accepted it and doesn't bother her not to have it. She said occasionally when she first started, she would miss things like a pot roast or like a ham dinner or things like that. But she said other than that, she doesn't miss it at all. So all I can say is good for her. But anyway, that's why we do, when I do things like this, I try to include her, or I end up having to make one of each. If I don't say anything to my husband about what I'm doing, it is, what is the matter? Come over here. What do you need? It is vegetarian. What? Hold on one moment. Do you need to go outside? Bear with me. Come on. What do you want? You want to go outside? Let's go. Come on. Come on. He's been sitting in the chair for half an hour and he has to wait until I do this. And the reason I did this was because my husband and my son went out to breakfast with my son-in-law. And I thought, I'll have some time to myself where it'll be quiet and I can do this without getting interrupted. And of course, that's best laid plans, right? Anyway, we're back to, I used vegetarian. I like the bush, but I couldn't find them. So this time, I didn't hunt all over for them, but I went to Hannaford's and they just had the B&M, so I took those. And the only other difference is I just don't put, like I used to put little bits of ham in it that was left over maybe from a holiday or from a ham steak, or I would put bacon in it for flavor more than anything. It would just be a couple of strips of cooked bacon chopped up with the flavor of the bacon, but we don't do that. So, and again, you don't miss what you don't have, so I don't exactly miss it either. So we're going to put, I don't know if we're going to get both of these cans in this bowl. Yeah, we will. So this is a 28-ounce can. So I'm going to try and do a trick here and get them both in. Oh, just made it with a little bit of room left over. And then I'm going to put, which may sound a little bit strange, but I like the flavor of celery salt. So I'm going to put a little bit of celery salt in. And a little bit of ground cumin. I have all different brands when it comes to spices. It depends where I am and what I need at the time. Garlic powder, not so much. Again, Just a little bit, so you get to know it's there. Black pepper. I do a lot of black pepper because I do very little salt because of my health. Onion powder. And a little bit of sea salt. The grinder's just about empty. You can probably hear it. That takes care of that. And then I had some leftover onions and green peppers. And I always put them in. Sometimes I put different kinds of green peppers in. You know, if you have a red or an orange or a yellow. And the onion is usually white onion, yellow onion. This I'm going to say is less than a half of green pepper. And it's a little bit bigger than I would have liked it to be, but that's what it ended up at. And about a half a small onion. And I'm going to reach in here, see if I can get myself a spoon. Yes. And I'm going to stir that up a little bit. This is something easy that, I almost always make for any kind of gathering or anything outside. And I just happened, thinking I had the peppers cut and the onions cut and what would I do with them. And I had everything, of course, except the beans. So that was the only thing I had to go out and chase down was the beans. And then I'm going to put golden spicy brown mustard. Now my husband likes the yellow deli style. Not too crazy about it. But I'm not going to tell him. You won't tell him, will you? Oh, good. Oh, this one is brand new and doesn't have the lid off it. Oh, this is always fun. Oh, I got under that really quickly. Hallelujah. And let's see, so we can get a little bit of better measurements here. It's a tablespoon, maybe half a tablespoon, and ketchup. This happens to be, we like Heinz ketchup. And we stopped getting it for a while because of all the, you know what I mean. I'm drawing a blank. This is organic. And I didn't purposely buy it to be organic, but I went to Sam's for it and that's all they had. And organic, for some reason, it's a bit different in color. It's darker. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, approximately. And that takes care of that. And then the last thing that I would like to put in it, but I don't have, so I'm going to substitute, is molasses. So what I'm going to do is I can either use honey or I'm going to use actually breakfast syrup. Again, I'm just kind of pouring it. It's probably was 2 tablespoons. And I'm going to take this 1 tablespoon out. And I'm going to put the other one back in so I can stir it around. And I just barely have enough space. I usually use my glass casserole, and I had pasta in it. And when I finished with it the first night, not the next night, but the night after that, we had it, as a leftover. And I should have taken it out of the casserole, and I didn't. And I heated it in that, and it just burned to pieces the edges that didn't have any food on them. So I got it in the sink soaking, and I looked at it this morning and I said, oh, I got to use that. And then when I tried to clean it and went to do it, it was going to be a job. So I said, I'll try something else. And this was the next available thing that I had. So I'll end up putting this on a tray. And I'm going to put it, I'm going to cook it in my toaster oven. I don't know about you guys. Maybe it's just me. Because of Rome, I end up storing things in my oven. Pots and pans and lids, so on. So I have to empty everything out every time I go to use the oven. So I try to use the toaster oven as often as I can. And this will fit in. It's going to be pretty heavy. Hopefully the tray will hold it. It is pretty heavy. I mean, they were both, what did I say, 28 ounce cans? 30, 60, 58 ounces. Yeah. It's going to be pretty heavy. But we'll give it a try. If not, I will have to take the oven apart and put it in there. And then I'll just put it in there on 350, 375 for about 45 minutes to an hour, probably closer to an hour. And I don't really have to explain, I don't think, any more than that. Everybody knows what it's like to make baked beans. It's just a matter of what you prefer and what you put in them. Last night when I was heating the leftovers, I said, oh, I don't know what possessed me. I'm going to go in the backyard while this is heating. I had about 10 minutes left, and see what's coming up in my plants in the garden in the back. And I went in the back, and I'm looking and lo and behold, the deer are already eating my hostas, and they're not totally out all the way. They're up a lot, but they're not quite finished, and they've eaten the ends off of one of them. So I said, that'll be enough of that. I'm not putting up with that. So I usually don't have to do this until later in the season. I came in and hunted down a bar of Irish Spring. And my husband likes to take it and cut it up in chunks and then put a skewer in the ground next to the plant and then put a chunk on the skewer. I knew I didn't have time for that last night, and the ground was still kind of wet, and I didn't want to bother, so I got a grater and a bar of Irish Spring and went out there and grated all over the area where the lilies are and the hostas are, and we'll see. It's always worked for us before, but this will probably, I'm sure, this will be the first time that we've used it grated. So I'll have to report back on how well that works. Hopefully it'll be fine. I still didn't get to all of them, actually. There's a couple on the side yard I got to get through that. They don't usually come this way. I think they know the dog is around, which has something to do with it. And the dog doesn't go in the backyard. So anyway, that's, why I'm sure they go that direction and stay there. Okay. I think that's about it for today. I'm glad I was able to get this done. It's been a while. My proverb for today, I know you were waiting for this, is actions speak louder than words. Now, what does that mean? people judge you on what you do or what you don't do, and not so much as what you say you're going to do. Because a lot of times we say things that we don't mean, or that we mean to do, but we don't get it done. So the action is what's counted and not your intention. That sounds fair. What do you think? Okay, I'm going to end this now. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please give me a thumbs up. I appreciate you using all your time and saving it for me. I hopefully will be back in less than a week. I knew I was supposed to be last week, but things just kind of spiral out of condition when you're trying to think you're going to get things done, and then one or two things pop up that back you up. And like I said, I don't often am here either alone or when I'm not either chasing after the dog or doing what needs to be done in the house and helping my husband doing things. And so anyway, thanks again. Have a great day. I really, really, really appreciate you tuning in and giving me your time. Bye now.